What's happening, guys? It's Blacksmith here. Gonna be talking to you about one of the most important things in sports betting for people who are starting out, people who are new to sports betting, and it's the thing that most people get wrong, and it's the reason that they never progress into becoming profitable or even a professional. Some people are very good at making picks, but they can't get past that barrier, which is the psychology and the emotional control aspect of sports betting. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Ben. I run a company called Blacksmith Bet, so I am Blacksmith, but my name's Ben. We now have 3 other cappers who work with me. We've built a very big channel in about a year, and when I say a very big, we've got over, at the peak we had 160 VIPs. We now have a more premium service that's more expensive, and we have over 100 VIPs in there. And we focus on quality over quantity. We look for only people who are serious about sports betting, who want to take this to the next level, not do it for fun, do it for profit. We're looking for those people. We turn away anyone who's trying to do it for fun or who's not serious, who won't listen to our suggestions. Why should you listen to our suggestions? Well, we've tracked our results and we've posted them publicly for over a year. Our more premium group has an ROI of over 20%. Now, I'm not saying that my ROI as a gambler is 20%. This is the premium group with the best bets in it. It's the easiest service to follow if you're someone who's got a day job or a busy life, because it's only our very best bets. The other groups are more reflective of our ROI, which is between 7 and 10%. One of my tipsters is averaging over 10% at the moment, which is unreal. My point being, we are people worth listening to. If you're new to sports betting, it's no good following your average professional. I'm sorry, but it's not. They make between 3 and 6% ROI. If you don't have a bankroll that's very large, 3 to 6% ROI is just not going to cut it. It's not going to build your bankroll quickly. You need to find someone who's outperforming the average professional. Most cappers, most handicappers are not even profitable, let alone being at the level that you need to follow. So you need to find a professional handicapper who is beating the average professional on average, who's also going to show you how it works. And that is what we offer. So let's get into the psychology. So I feel like a lot of what I'm going to talk about are things that a lot of handicappers, a lot of professional gamblers, legit ones I'm talking about, don't want to share. They don't want to share this information because they feel like once you know it, you're going to do it yourself. And if you look at the Telegram group today, we had a message posted by someone who follows us saying, your voice notes, your coaching, and I'll give people voice notes or reply to their messages who aren't in VIP, by the way, because that's how I learned. I asked someone who was a legit professional after looking at about 100 tipsters. I found one who was really good, and they explained to me how it works. But they said, you changed my life, and it's changed my life as well, and that's why we share this information. But my point being, it can be life-changing, but most people, this is why most handicappers are scared of sharing this information, because they think most people are going to take it and then learn to do it themselves. The reality is, very few of you are going to take the information in, digest it, actually put it into practice, and practice the skill enough to get good. So I'm putting this out there knowing that most people won't do it. Sports betting is difficult. If you really want to be good at it, you 100% can do it. You can learn most of what I know in a year, but most of you probably won't do it. It's too much hard work. The alternative is to follow someone like me or the guys on my team and just follow our plays. So that's out the way. If you want to join the Telegram channel, which is where we post all the free plays and analysis, the link's in the description below, or if you want to sign up to the paid service. So let's get into it. So the psychology of sports betting is super interesting because I can tell you exactly how to make money sports betting. I've shared it in my group, you know, and in a very, very simple format I can explain. And people will know that, and they'll know it's true, they'll see the data, and they still won't do it because they have to go against human nature. So the first thing you've got to know is one of the biggest skills of being a sports bettor is the ability to think for yourself and be a free thinker. Think about this, 97% of people lose money sports betting. 97%, and they all bet in a very similar manner. So if you want to be that 3%, what do you have to do? I think it's obvious. You've got to bet differently. You've got to do something different. I'll give you the simplest example I can, and you can search ChatGPT and ask it this question, which I did and posted the results in my Telegram group. If you bet on every favourite in the Premier League, I think we did it from 2022 season because ChatGPT didn't have any more recent data. If you bet on every favourite, you would have lost money. If you bet on every underdog throughout the season, you would have made money. Simple, okay? Bet underdogs. But no one bets underdogs, or if they do, they only do it in a very specific time, which is when the underdog is a public underdog. That's the one time you don't want to bet an underdog because it's a trap. But in general, people bet the favourites all the time. So, like last night, for example, we had we had Bologna, we had them to win, and we had them double chance. We said double chance was the free play. We said Inter will lose this, but everyone's going to bet Inter because it's Inter. They're the best team, right? The way books make money, and you should think about this, if 97% of people bet on the same things, how can a bookie possibly make any money? Especially if they bet on the most likely outcome. Because they're going to be winning most of the time, right? So how does a bookie make money? They make money by making sure that the odds are good enough for you to either bet it straight or to put it in an accumulator, into a parlay, but not good enough so that it makes profit over time. This is why it sometimes feels like you're winning bets, but you're never making money. Because if you're winning and say it's at 1.70 odds, well, you've got to win, you've got to have a hit rate of like 75% to make an okay profit. You know, it's just not really realistic, you know, when you extrapolate it. And you'll see a lot of tipsters who bet this way because it looks like they're making money, but when you actually do the data and you do the profit loss, and they don't share profit losses, by the way, so many of them don't, they're down units, but it looks good because 7 out of 10 plays are winning, but they're just breaking even or making a loss in most cases if it's less than that. So this is a good example of how your psychology as a human being is basically hardwired to lose money. Naturally, we are risk averse by nature. Humans are risk averse. They don't like risk. You know, the most basic form I can take it to is if you're a human being out and about surviving in the natural world and you find a water source, getting water is dangerous. There's predators around, you know, you don't know if it's safe. Once you know it's safe, people will use the same water source again and again. It's why people eat at the same places as well. They like familiarity because it's safety, it's psychology. We like what's safe. The favourite seems really safe, but it's not going to be the best ROI long term. And a small percentage of humans are considered, I don't know if they'd consider them risk takers, but they're different thinkers. They will go, I know there's water there, but I want to find another water source. It's the curiosity. And when they have two water sources, their chance of survival is extremely, it's increased a lot higher. It's an extremely good ROI, return on investment. But most people won't do that because they want to be safe. And this is a genetic thing that's been hardwired into us over generations, you know, more than generations, over millennia. So it's really hard to go against that. It really is. But in sports betting, you need to do it. So if we know that favourites, most of the time, you've got 90% of, on average, people betting on a favourite. If we know that that means that line is probably unprofitable, what does that mean about the underdog? It means the underdog is going to be profitable. And this is the beauty of sports betting. There always has to be a side that is plus EV, unless you live in some country that is basically a fraudulent system. I'm not going to mention which countries, but there are some countries that will have such bad odds you will always lose money. We're not in that situation in the UK, in America, in Australia, in all these markets across Europe. There always has to be one side that is plus EV if one's minus EV. And plus EV means positive expected value. It means the play will make money over time. Minus EV, minus expected value, you will lose money over time. All you need to do is find plus EV plays. I keep talking about last week how we had Ipswich to win first half. And I said, how did I know that was going to hit? I said I didn't. I just saw the odds were way too high. And that is sports betting. The problem with your psychology is it will tell you that that is not a play you want to take because it's going to lose more than it wins. So you will take Chelsea at terrible odds in an ACCA or a parlay, and it will lose you money 100%. But people will take it because they think, oh, but it should win and I'll get the money now. You need to remove your emotional attachment from the win, and you just need to think, is this going to make me money over time? Okay, I'm going to bet 1% of my bankroll, so you need to be betting with a unit system or a staking system that allows you to do this, because if you bet more than 10% of your bankroll at a time, you're just going to get wrecked by variance, and as soon as you have a few losses, you're going to lose everything, and everyone has a few losses in a row, by the way. And this is part of psychology. And this is the other thing I wanted to talk about. For most of you, this won't apply because you're not profitable. But if you're following someone who is proven profitable, you need to have faith in them, and I would say you need to do this by following them with a very small stake for a month at first to see if they're profitable, and even then they might have a bad month, so it's hard to tell if they're good. But once you know that they are profitable, if they have a bad week, so in the syndicate, for example, we had a bad few days to begin with, and there was a newcomer, a new member, who was like, oh, we're down units. He was betting, we were saying bet 2 units, bet 3 units. He was betting way more units than he should have been. So he was down way more than he should have been. And the problem with that is, you then get emotional and you get worried, so you reduce your unit size. So then when you start winning, you don't recoup the losses. So this is the hardest thing about sports betting. But when you're profitable, it's not hard. You know that you're going to make profit. You've been doing it for years. You know it will turn around. In fact, it's quite common to not make much money in the week and then have a huge income on the weekend. Our weekends are massive. It's when we make most of our money. We make a bit of profit in the week usually, but sometimes the week doesn't go well. And weekend comes and it's an absolute money machine for us. Every group this weekend actually had it off, had a massive couple of days, because that's when most plays are on, and it's also when most money is in the market as well. So it's easier to see where the money is, it's easier to make your reads. And someone in my syndicate, the most premium group, said this to me, and he's someone who's been gambling a lot longer than I have, you know, way longer. And he said, Ben, you're absolutely right. He actually told me this. So we were talking about the same thing and we were having this conversation, and he gave me a good bit of advice. He was like, this is going to be the hardest thing for your followers. It's to trust you, because most of them, or a lot of them, are new. So our sales, 50% of our sales are renewals, so it's people who sign back up. They know the score. They are cool, they're chilled. When I say, sorry guys, we had a bit of a bad start to the week, they're all like, it doesn't matter, mate. You know, we know we're going to be okay, because they've been through it before. They know we're going to make a load of money come end of the week. The newer players who come in, they see that we're winning. It feels like we're never going to lose, so they start betting really big, and then they lose. I always say, if you feel like you should be increasing your unit size, be prepared, because you're probably due a loss, because you're confident and you feel like you should be doing it because you've had a load of wins. And wins don't last forever. Even the best tipsters in the world will have a losing period, and this is why you bet 1 to 5% of your bankroll for most plays. You bet on the unit system, and you take the psychology out of it. You just bet, is this good value? Yes, I'll make that bet. And you stay indifferent about the result when you know you're profitable. So this is so important to understand, and I've really just scratched the surface on this. But the concepts that I'm talking about are things that you've got to learn, because if you don't have this emotional control and you can't detach yourself from the outcome, you will always pick the safest play. You'll try and pick the safest play every time, and it will be bad value and you will lose money long term. So you need to learn about this. And also, if you don't have emotional control, it doesn't matter if I give you winning plays, because you will chase the thrill of the win. You'll try and get your money back when you lose. If you bet with emotions, you're going to get wrecked. The bookies want you emotional. They want you a gambling addict. This is the truth. That's why I don't take any monies from the bookies, and I never will, because they're evil companies who want to make people gambling addicts. And gambling addiction has the highest suicide rate out of any addiction. This is why I hate tipsters who lie about their results, because some people that listen to them and think it's true will become gambling addicts, and some of them will take their own lives. So it's serious. I hate to end on a low note, but this is real life. This is true. This is not a joke. And if you have that compulsion that you can't stop, you need to stop gambling. You should not join my service. You should not join any service. You'll never make money, because even if we give you winners, you're going to bet on other things because you want the thrill. If you have emotional control, or if you can be rational and detach yourself from the outcome, or you can learn that, hey, this could change your life. So remember to focus on this. You need to get this under control, because if you get this wrong, the consequences are severe. I hope you learned something, guys. I'm going to talk about this in a lot more detail. And, you know, managing the losses, you know, when you're getting losses, if you're not profitable, you're not going to be able to manage it. If you are, because you know profits come in. So if you're not profitable, you need to follow a service that is in profit consistently, so you can trust them to do the thinking for you. Also, listen to content like this. Make an effort to learn yourself. You can 100% learn this. I'm living proof of that. It's changed my life in a very short period of time. I hope you learned something here, guys. We're going to keep doing more of these long form videos where we're going to be teaching concepts, but this is one of the most important ones. get in the group, get in the Telegram group. We've gone 11 wins, 4 losses for our free plays over the last week. We've given out draw wins. You've seen the free plays in the shorts on here hitting at a massive clip. We've had Bournemouth, Crystal Palace draw and the under 3 Asian goal line. Bologna double chance. We've had Volkanovski to win last week as a max bet. Look at the free plays in our shorts. Just go and look at them now. We've absolutely smashed it. So if you want to be part of that, join the link in the description and we're going to have another huge week. Let's get it.